Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session. When we talk about eczema, do you think there is no treatment for it beyond, topical ointments and steroidal applications or consuming steroids and other immunosuppressants? If you do think so, then let me tell you a real story. We had this client about 40 years old who had eczema on her hand and legs. She took every possible treatment, but there was no substantial improvement. Then when she came to us, we actually tracked and first figured the root causes, which are the triggers mainly, and they were mainly, related to her lifestyle. When we worked on those loopholes along with our natural remedies, within a month's time, there was tremendous improvement in her condition. The patches started healing. So, was that a miracle? Not really. But, simply understanding and identifying and working on her root causes and with her own body's intelligence, we were able to achieve this. And I shall be sharing the same in today's session, that is tips to manage eczema in a holistic way. But before I begin, let me introduce myself. I'm Prachi, head nutritionist lifestyle expert from Lucutino's team. I have 8 years of experience in this field and have handled cases right from cancer to diabetes, thyroid, PCOS, skin conditions, and many more. Now, coming back to our topic, let us first understand what eczema really is. So, eczema is basically, a skin inflammatory condition, wherein it's a chronic inflammatory condition, wherein patches of skin become red, inflamed, and are itchy, and dry and crack, leading to infections, blisters sometimes as well. There are about 7 different types of eczema, but the most common is atopic dermatitis. And in this session, we shall mainly be discussing about atopic dermatitis or atopic eczema as it is called. Now, the word dermatitis means skin inflammation, while atopic or atopy means a genetic tendency or predisposition to produce an exaggerated immune response to some triggers causing, allergy or asthma or hay fever. Hence, most often people with atopic dermatitis or AD as we call may also have asthma or rhinitis or hay fever or may have a family history of the same. It can be hereditary, therefore. So, hence, this overactive immune system in turn triggers inflammation, which then damages the skin barrier, which is generally known to protect the skin from, becoming dry or from infections. Now, this damage thus leaves the skin dry and prone to rashes, itching, redness, and also infections. And the itching, scratching further leads to more inflammation, which further damages the skin barrier. So, it's like a vicious cycle. And the inflamed skin also carries a lot of heat and toxins. It's more common in children, but can affect anyone at any age actually. So though some may be genetically susceptible to it, if we can identify those triggers and work on it, it can possibly help in curbing the expression of that gene. So what we really need to look at are those triggers, and which could be either internal or external environmental triggers. So now let's look at those triggers one by one. Now, when coming to triggers, the first one being allergies. So it could be allergy to anything at all, as in it could be food allergies. So some could be allergic to wheat, mainly to gluten, then dairy, soy, peanuts, eggs as well, which can overactivate the immune system, leading to inflammation and thus making one more susceptible to eczema. Also, highly processed foods, packaged foods, refined sugar, refined oils can trigger inflammation. So we really, really need to be careful about, what kind of food we put into our system, and be aware if, that is actually a trigger for your inflammation and therefore eczema. Not just food, but even other, allergens, like even fabric for that matter. So, synthetic fabric or even can actually cause skin allergy. and therefore make you more susceptible to having an eczema. So instead of if you think you are more susceptible to a fabric allergy, then maybe instead you could opt for cotton fabric and loose comfortable clothing instead. Allergy could also be to airborne allergens like say pollens or dust allergy as well. It could also be chemical irritants. So when it comes to certain substances in your skincare products or personal care products, soaps, creams, you would need to be more watchful about that, because that can also be causing a trigger and inflammation, thus maybe making you more susceptible to eczema. Also, not just chemical irritants, but even physical irritants. So actually any and everything for that matter, which can cause a persistent irritation over the skin can, possibly lead to inflammation and therefore eczema. In fact, if I need to tell you about the physical irritant, so I have this friend, who got ear eczema, ear canal eczema, because her job was such that she needed to use earphones, one that we plug in inside the ear canal. So she used to use that chronically, and that led to ear canal eczema for her. So what the point that I want to make is that the trigger could be as trivial as that. So what we really need to do is just be vigilant enough about what could actually be causing the inflammation or rash and could be a trigger for you. The next possible trigger is basically extreme temperatures. So the external temperatures. If it's too hot or too cold a weather, that could also be a possible trigger for an inflammation for your skin, or even abrupt climatic changes, especially when it comes to people who live in Dubai and Middle East, where the temperatures are extremely hot. We have come across a lot of cases there, either with eczema or some kind of skin condition. So what really happens is, one tends to put on a full temperatures, and what happens is, during such hot temperatures, when the AC is on, but then we cover the body with layers of blankets to keep the body warm, when the AC is on and the temperature is cool then. But what happens during that time is that you do not allow the heat to be thrown out of the body then, and thus you retain it inside. And actually what happens in eczema is, the body is trying to eject out the heat and toxins. So you see, since you tend to retain a lot of heat because of that layers of blankets, it can make the skin more susceptible to eczema. Hence, what you can do is you can keep the AC on, but try not to cover the areas with clothing and blankets. So the skin has to be exposed and it needs to breathe in order to heal. The next trigger is compromised gut health. So especially severe chronic constipation, which tends to back up toxins in the body. This can increase inflammation and make one more susceptible to eczema. As body tends to eject the toxins out then through skin. Also, if there is an imbalance of good and bad bacteria in the gut, like the probiotics that we call, that can also in turn affect the gut health and thus immunity, because your gut health and immunity are directly related. So if you want a stronger immunity, your gut health should also be strong enough. So if there is a compromised gut because of this disproportionate or not a proper ratio of your good and bad bacteria in the gut, that can also affect your immunity, thus making you more susceptible to eczema. Also, if you have had been on a lot of antibiotics in your past or in your life too often, without simultaneously being given a probiotic supplement, that can also disrupt the good gut microflora in your gut. So because these probiotics are important, as I said, to help boost the immune system and protect you against the body against allergies, which again, as I said, is the one of the main causes of eczema. Also there's one fact, as in it's not yet proven though, but it is believed that kids born through C-section could be more susceptible to allergies compared to vaginal birth kits. As through the vaginal canal, basically babies are exposed to the microflora in the vaginal canal, which is the first step in their life towards building immunity. So as I said, it's though not proven yet, but there could be a possibility like that. Also, if it is believed that children who are not breastfed, their immunity might also be compromised, because breast milk has certain immune factors which help building the immunity of the baby, and hence breastfeeding the child for the first 6 months for a minimum could also is important to build up the immunity. And if that does not happen, then it can make the child the it can compromise the child's immunity, and thus making him or her more susceptible to something like eczema. Um, other aspect is that when children are overprotected hygienically, like they are not really allowed to play in the mud soil out in the garden, that often can affect the development of their immunity. This might not, you might not be able to relate to this, but that is actually true. Because what happens is when there's a touch of the soil and the mud, that can actually help in building good gut flora, good microflora in your gut, which helps again, in boosting child's immunity. Hence, they need to do that. They need to play in the mud and soil. But of course, right now, due to lockdown, if they are not able to go out in the garden and stuff, so maybe what you can just do is order like an organic soil, and just let your child play at home with it for some time, which would serve the purpose. So yeah, that's like a tip that you can use to build your child's immunity further. Then next trigger would be chronic sleep deprivation. As even Luke always says that sleep is like the base for your immunity, because it is during your sleep that your the detoxification, healing, and immunity boosting happens. So, but if your sleep is compromised, that also leads to inflammation, thus increasing susceptibility to eczema. Hence, it is extremely important to get an average of 7 to 8 hours of good sound sleep daily, which is extremely important to build your immune system, and thus making you more less susceptible to having an eczema. The next or the fifth trigger could be chronic emotional stress. Again, this is something that we've spoken about emotional stress almost in every condition, and because it's really true that having chronic emotional stress can actually dampen your immunity quite a lot, which ultimately will can lead making you more susceptible to skin conditions like eczema as well. So what happens is, with chronic anxiety, stress, suppressed emotions, they ultimately affect your immunity. In fact, even in case of kids, because eczema is also quite often, as in it's commonly seen in kids as well. When we talk about emotional stress, it is true in their case as well, because in today's world wherein there's so much of competition and peer pressure, children are really chronically anxious, and they do also have suppressed emotions in them. So it is extremely important to deal with it correctly, to have a dialogue with them every time, and keep it open with them, so that they can easily share things with you and help reducing that anxiety and stress in them, which can also ultimately help them with their eczema. And simple tools like deep breathing, positive visualization, affirmations, meditation are super powerful and inexpensive tools that which we can use to deal with emotional stress. Also, in fact, there's this something called as psychodermatology, which is coming up in mostly in the West, in Europe mainly, wherein they are they try to connect skin conditions to the mind. So that goes to say that it is real, as in the mind is definitely connected to your gut, your immunity, and therefore your skin conditions too. So it is extremely important to take care of your emotional health as well when it comes to eczema. So basically, these, the five triggers that I talked about, these could be the triggers for you, the root causes for your eczema, and hence, we need to really be watchful for these triggers. And now correlating these triggers with the case that I mentioned about in the beginning. So what had happened with girl, the client that we had, the 40-year-old girl, was that she had severe constipation issues for a very, very long time. So her gut health was compromised, and also she was carrying a lot of, emotional baggage since a very long time. So we actually worked on her gut health and her, emotional health through positive affirmations, even acceptance and let go, and also certain external remedies that I shall be talking about shortly. And because of that, and she was very, she was disciplined, and she actually really followed those tips very religiously. And that's how, within a month's time, we could actually see like a tremendous difference in her condition, and her eczema actually started healing. So, the point that I want to make is that you just need to follow your body's cues. You need to just find the root causes, and just you just work on those, with discipline and religiously. Now, coming to our remedies. So, let me begin with like a super remedy that we have used. In fact, we had used this remedy for the case that I mentioned as well, which is sabja seeds with raw potato juice application. So what you need to do is just take about 2 tablespoons of sabja seeds, which are the sweet basil seeds or takmaria seeds, and need to crush them with a pestle and to make them into a powder. And take about 4 tablespoons of raw cold pressed coconut oil and add the sabja seed powder to it and heat on a low flame for a minute. Now cool this mixture and then apply it on the areas of skin, where which is affected with eczema, daily for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then just wash off with water and pat dry. Post this, you need to apply raw potato juice on the area, on the eczema area, and then let it also stay for around 30 minutes. Once it dries off, it will form like a thin crust, post which you can gently wash it with plain water and pat dry again. So you can try this, sabja seed with coconut oil and then the raw potato juice application for about 2 weeks at least to see the effects of this remedy over your eczema. The next remedy is using cold pressed coconut oil with Himalayan pink salt. So what you need to do is just take a bowl of good quality cold pressed virgin coconut oil and add about a tablespoon of Himalayan pink salt to it, and then take this mixture on a towel and lightly dab this on the affected area. Do not rub it because the salt crystals can then irritate the skin and could further break it. So do not rub it at all. You just need to dab it over the eczema spots, the areas, and you just need to leave it for some time and then just wash it off. So basically what happens is the minerals from pink salt and the oil, they have the ability to get absorbed in the infected area of the skin, and that is how it helps with healing your eczema. If not using a pink salt with coconut oil, you can also apply plain cold pressed coconut oil as well over the area, say twice a day. The next is oatmeal water. So what you need to do is just soak about 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground, organic steel cut oats in warm water for some time, say about, like half an hour or so, until it creates a thin slimy film in that water. Once that happens, you need to apply this water on the, affected area and leave it for about, say, 30 minutes. And then just wash off and pat dry. You can do this about 1 to 2 times in a day. The next remedy is very simple and quite effective as well, which is fresh aloe vera gel application. So that just simply applying fresh aloe vera over the affected areas can also help soothe the skin and helps in the healing process of eczema. It's because of the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effect of aloe vera. But when I talk about these external remedies, always see to it that you do a patch test first, to see if the remedy is suiting you. Because not everybody is the same, as in everybody would respond differently to different remedies. So always do a small patch test for a day or two and see if there is no adverse reaction to any of these remedies, and only then go ahead with using that remedy for some time to see an effect. The next remedy, or rather the vitamins and minerals of interest, when it comes to eczema are the first being vitamin D. Again, vitamin D is like this universal vitamin, which is extremely important when it comes to your immunity. It's like a precursor for immunity, and also extremely important for your skin health. So it is always good to check your vitamin D levels through like a normal, a simple blood test, and get to know your levels. And accordingly, you can check for the right dose of supplementation for your vitamin D. But it is extremely important to keep up with sufficient levels of your vitamin D for your skin as well as for your immunity. The other vitamins are basically all your B complex vitamins, especially B6, B12, folic acid, as they are again important for skin and immunity. So foods which are rich in these vitamins, like whole grains, pulses, fruits, vegetables, especially green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds. These are really important to be incorporated in your daily routine. If at all required, you may want to look at B complex supplementation as well. Then it is zinc, which is, again, it is known for wound healing and skin healing properties and repair. So having like a daily intake of zinc rich foods, which is, your pumpkin seeds, all your nuts as well, like almonds, walnuts and stuff, even whole grains, pulses, that can also help in when it comes to healing eczema. The other vitamin of interest is vitamin A, or beta carotene, which is again extremely important because of its antioxidant and skin healing properties. So foods like papaya, carrots, pumpkin, which are rich in beta carotene, is something that you can look at adding in your daily routine. Even the anti-inflammatory foods like ginger, garlic, turmeric, black pepper, do try to add them in your daily cooking, because since because of the anti-inflammatory properties, they'll help in reducing inflammation and therefore help with your eczema. Also omega-3 fatty acids, which are again anti-inflammatory and extremely important for your skin health. So which are like good quality fats basically. So try to incorporate them as well in your routine through sources like raw flax seeds or soaked walnuts, or even organic oily fish, which are good sources of omega-3. So basically, yes, these were the remedies for helping the healing process of eczema. Tina, can we go on with the question and answers?
So absolutely, Prati. I think that was a very informative session with, from the triggers to what are some of the remedies. I thought the remedies were really, really bang on. So there are a few questions that have come in. Can we do this application on healed areas and live areas? Is one of the questions.
Okay, so when it comes to you can check it over the healed area and both healed and like a healing area, which is like an infected or affected area, when it comes to a patch test. Uh, Talking about the remedies, so if it's a healed area already, then to prevent further the area being affected again, maybe you can just go on with the application of cold pressed coconut oil as well over the area to like prevent further the area being affected again.
Okay, great, thanks. There's someone who, how to get rid of eczema darkening marks. So I think the eczema has gone but has left some marks behind. So what can we do for that?
Yeah. So, for the dark mark, as I spoke about raw potato juice, you need not take the sabja seeds. You can directly, just take the raw potato juice which is basically taking raw potato and just washing it, removing the peel, and just making into a paste like a consistency, and just apply over the area, the dark patch, and leave it for like 30 minutes or so. And then you just wash it off with plain water, pat dry, and post that you can either apply aloe vera gel over the area and just leave it, or you can apply cold pressed coconut oil over the area. So do it regularly to see it.
Okay. Is psoriasis and eczema the same?
No, though of course the appearance seems to be similar, but no, they are not the same causes. Psoriasis is more of an autoimmune condition, and the appearance is a little different. But yeah, they ultimately, if the remedies or the triggers could more or less be the same, but the conditions are different.
Okay. I'm not sure if you've spoken about apple cider vinegar. Is that something you can use for eczema? And if so, how do you apply it?
So apple cider vinegar is a little tricky because you need to see to it that if you're using it, it's in diluted form. Because if you're using it in concentrated amount, then it can in fact irritate your skin further. So it does, yes, apple cider vinegar helps in balancing the pH of the skin, due to which it helps with healing. But if you have to use it, then probably you can take it in like a cup of water. Just add about a tablespoon of apple cider raw unfiltered with the mother or apple cider vinegar, and just wash off the area, the affected area, by eczema. And yeah, that is how you can use it. But as I said, the disclaimer, the caution that you need to take is you have to use in diluted form always.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks for answering that, Prachi. There's one other question on, can we use the remedies that you suggested for herpes as well?
You can, since it's also like an infected area. So things like, cold pressed coconut oil, even aloe vera for that matter, can definitely be used for herpes areas, affected areas as well.
Okay. My mother has eczema. My question is, can she have coconut oil in the morning? And she has adverse effect of oil and potato juice. What is an alternative?
Okay. Yeah, so that is why, as I said, that not every remedy will be, will work for everyone. We need to also check how they are responding to those remedies. So if coconut oil application or raw potato juice application is not suiting, firstly, you also need to check, when it comes to eczema, what the body does is initially when you start with the treatment and the applications, there is a possibility that, the symptoms might aggravate because the body is trying to throw off those toxins. So it does not mean that it is not working for you. In fact, it is working, but firstly, it is helping in removing those toxins, and then it will start healing once all those toxins are flushed out of the system. So first you need to check that. But yet, if you feel it is not suiting, then you can try the other, that is aloe vera gel application, which is also something you can look at, or even olive oil with a few, like say 3-4 drops of tea tree oil is also something that you can try as an application.
Okay, super. There's one question about recapping the triggers if you can, and in the interest of time, if you can recap your session, that would be great, Prachi. Thanks.
Sure, thank you. So what we saw in today's session was that what eczema really is, and especially looked at atopic dermatitis in detail. Then we looked at the triggers, which is first being allergies, the allergens being either food related or fabric or chemical irritants or even physical irritants. Then we looked at extreme temperatures, hot and cold temperatures. Then compromised gut health, chronic sleep deprivation, and chronic emotional stress. Then the remedies that we looked at were, sabja seeds with raw potato juice application, then cold pressed virgin coconut oil with pink salt, oatmeal water application, fresh aloe vera gel application, and then we looked at certain vitamins and minerals of interest, which is, vitamin D, B vitamins, zinc, vitamin A, beta carotene. anti-inflammatory foods, and omega-3 fatty acids.
Right.
So, guys, whoever, as in the ones who have watched today's session, the point that I'm trying to make is that, as I also mentioned about this case that we handled, which was pretty successful. So, it's not just about, don't stop at just knowing the triggers or the root causes, but you also further need to, work on those with discipline and, with consistency and with all the faith in the healing process. Only then can you reap the benefits out of this information. So I hope you are able to do that. Thank you very much. Have a great day ahead. Take care.